Where's the helicopter? There it is. That's the first time that's flown over me. Ooh. And we heard the Yeti at the same time. Maybe he was tracking it. Hello and welcome along and welcome back to No Man's Land. We have got the barley in finally. It took till 8 PM the previous night to get the barley done, but it is in the field. What we need to do now, as it's day 3 of October, is get the get it rolled in. We need to get this field rolled before the barley germinates. We then got a fairly busy day today because we need to get our grass field cut, headed, cut, rowed, well, which we can do with our mower at once, baled and wrapped, so that we have another set of silage bales. And then once we've got that done, we need to get those silage bales off the field. And that field rolled as well. So it's going to be a pretty busy day as far as jobs that we need to do on here. We should get it done fairly quickly. Most of these jobs are fairly easy ones for us. So I'm not expecting this to be too much of a problem. It is just going to be a lot of jobs to do. So yeah, we want to get them done as quickly as possible, starting with this rolling. And as we know, this roller is pretty good at this job. I have had quite a few comments recently asking why I don't just treat these two fields as if they were a single field and go over the roadway across, and so I have fewer times to turn. And the reason for that is exactly where we ended up last time, where we had the field not quite finished. I was looking at leaving a bit of field and therefore being in a position where I would have had an unfinished field, one unfinished field out of 2. Whereas if I treat these as 2 fields, while it would save me a bit of time, there is still that possibility that I could end up with a field, with 2 fields that are unfinished, and I'm unable to, and then germinate, or I'm left with having trouble to roll them, or whatever. It just means dealing with each field as a separate field means that I don't necessarily have to do both fields in the same day or at the same time. The other reason is the shape of the fields. This field here very much lends itself to doing at this angle, whereas the other field wants a much straighter angle because of the way it's shaped. And as a result, I'm going to end up doing one of these fields in a less efficient way than doing it as 2 separate fields if I do them as one. So yeah, there's several reasons why I don't do these as 2 fields. It is a very valid question though, and yes, there are some people absolutely who would treat these as 2 fields, but for the way I'm doing this and the way I'm playing it, it doesn't really fit with how I'm doing stuff. And as we come down to finish off the headland on this first field, all done and dusted. Very happy with how quickly that's gone. I mean, it's only 9:10. So yeah, getting this job out the way nice and quickly is good. We want to lift this up and fold it because I want to start at the top of the other field. We'll pull this up and round and take it up to the top here, and then we can unfold it at the top and get this second field done as well. Now these are really the last couple of jobs we need to do before we are before winter. We are going to end up with, well, what is our fertilization like on these 2 fields? Bring this over here and let's turn everything off except for the fertilization state. Yeah, so we're not fertilized at all. I need to run some fertilizer over this today then. We need to get some of that on. make sure that these fields are fertilized as well, because as we hit a growth stage, we are also going to end up with needing to put the second lot of fertilizer on in order to get it on before our wheels on our tractor and our solid fertilizer spreader start causing issues. I think we have some fertilizer in our fertilizer spreader. I hope we do, because as you can see, we only have 800. Well, we have minus 844 pound on here, so we don't even have money on here. We do, as we've pointed out in the past, have a lot of crops and things in storage, so we're fine for money at a future point. At the moment, though, it's cash flow. We don't have great cash flow, and we kind of need to rectify that, but we can't do that until December. If we actually get everything done today, it's going to be a fairly quiet November. There isn't going to be much to do on the farm, so I think we might end up skipping most of November and going straight to December for the sales, for the sale of our crops. The only thing that might stop me would be if we had something really good come up in the shop, but even then we're not going to have the money to purchase it. So that's exactly what's going to happen, of course. It's happened to us the whole way through. We want something from the shop. We need something like a new tractor, because we are definitely going to need one of those on here. And yeah, it comes up for sale and we don't have the money to buy it. So I'm keeping my fingers crossed that just as we sell all the crops and all of our stuff this year, a tractor of about the right horsepower for what we want is going to come up and give me a very nice boost to the farm just when we've got the right amount of money to do it. And then we can get jobs like this going with a hired worker. We can put the hired workers to work and be a little bit more efficient overall on the farm, which would be absolutely great. Would make a massive difference to us. Oh, and we could possibly do with a little bit more horsepower with whatever tractor we have. It would be good to have a bigger horsepower tractor. Maybe something around about the 150 horsepower mark. Most of our equipment fits into that level, and this little tractor is only a little bit underpowered for some of it. It would allow us to get a bigger plow as well, and get that job done quicker as well, which would be a huge boon to us. Would make a massive difference to us getting these fields turned around a bit quicker, because as we've seen this year, it's taken a while to get these fields turned around and done. But we'll see where we go, and hopefully it will all work. We do need to get this grass cut today, because if we don't do that, as I've said before, it's not going to regrow enough before the winter for us to get 3 good cuts out next year. And we want to get 3 good cuts out, because that way we will be in a great position. It's going to be the midway through each season we want to do our grass cut next year to make everything work out the best we can. Whether we get there, I don't know. It's going to be interesting. Next job, as I've said, though, is going to be getting some fertilizer onto our field, hopefully. We're going to hook up to our fertilizer spreader, see how much we've got in there. If it's a good amount, then yeah, we should be all right. If it isn't, then we've got no means of getting extra in. And it's going to cost us money in the long run. What we'll have to do if we don't have enough fertilizer in here. Well, if we don't have any fertilizer in here, we're actually... I think we're in trouble either way. We don't have money to buy any. And we don't... Do we have enough to do 2 full whacks across this field? Let's go give this a go. See what happens. Now, somebody in the comments did say this goes wider. This fertilizer. I can't see No, that's... No. So I can't see any way to make this go wider in here. So I don't know if that's a function you do in the store or whether that's a function that this particular version doesn't have. But yeah, I don't have anything that will make this fertilizer spreader spread wider as far as I can see. Now this, I think, is a good instance where we can do these two fields as one. With 689 litres. I think that's probably enough. But we won't know until we get up to the field here. Right. And turn you on. We need to get this as wide a coverage as possible. And ideally, this 600, 700 odd litres, this needs to do both these fields twice. So we need to be left with about 6% at the end of this to have it work properly. Turn it off, turn it back on. Even that little bit at the end there could save us quite a bit of money in the long run. I'm going to get this so that we waste as little as possible. There we go. And off. Yeah, you can see the odd shape that I'm now dealing with a little bit. And this is more about trying to preserve what we've got than it is doing an overly straight run. But that weird kink in the field does not help us. Right, and shut it off. Turn it on. There we go. And we're down to 9%. And about halfway through this field. Or these two fields. This might work if we're lucky. Okay, so we are down to 6% as we're coming to the last section of this field here. However, there is a big patch in the other field, along with another couple of patches I've missed. We might just be able to cover this last little patch in the middle of this other field and keep 6%. But I think it's going to be closest to exactly how well we get coverage on this field and the other field later on. In fact, there we are. We're down to 5% at this point. So it's not great. We have a situation where we might very easily end up with not enough. In fact, I don't think we have enough to cover both of these fields. So that's not great. We should at least be able to cover one of them, which is good. Then I think it's going to be a case of a sprayer or something like that. Or, because we're not expecting much growth to happen over the winter, before the springtime growth kicks in, we might be able to get some more fertilizer and get it covered. So I think we're going to spread in November on one of them. Whether we spread in the other, I don't know. And this is a case where treating them as two separate fields is probably going to pay off for us. So it's still before midday, and our next job is going to be to do some mowing. So let's hook up the mower. The other thing I want to do is put some fuel in the tractor. So I think my fuel tank is still in the back of my truck. Over this way. Yeah, there it is. How much fuel do we have in it, I wonder? We did completely refill it. Yeah, 424 litres. So let's refill that. And that should then give us a nice amount. I'm interested to see how much this actually holds. In fact, how much does this tractor actually hold? We can look that up. This tractor holds 105 litres. So yeah, we can fill up about 5 times off that little fuel tank, which is great. Works absolutely brilliant for this little tractor. Right, so we are going to go around the field counterclockwise first. As we discussed last time, driving over the grass wouldn't really be a huge problem. So we'll just go round the field with ourselves on the inside first, and that will get us the better cut from this. Spin it around, and because this has a swather on it, we straight away get some nice piles of grass that we can immediately just bale up and turn into silage bales, which is great. Absolutely perfect for us. Saves so much time doing this job. So we've come to the edge of, or the end of the first round of the field. I'm going to head back, and now we're going to go clockwise around the field and get the rest of this cut. I'm going to do 3 headlands, so we're going to be going around the whole field 3 times, and then hopefully straightening things out a little bit and making some straighter cuts around it, which I think will work out better for us overall. Coming up to the end of the 3rd headland, which quite nicely clears out this end of the field here. Now I'm going to run this along this side here, and yeah, not worry about cutting on the outside bits. So head down here. And while I'd like this to be quite straight, there's no massive need for it to be so. We can just follow the line round here and then do the same along the top edge of the field. And we're not having to maneuver quite as much as we were when we were doing the headland bits. Which just saves us a bit of time overall and a little bit of fuel. It means we're being a lot less fiddly around the rest of this field. Seem to be getting a decent amount of grass off here. I think we might be cutting it a stage early. I'm not sure if this is fully grown, but it is at a pretty good setup. Now I'm going to keep doing the bit around here like this to try and straighten this out, because yeah, it's coming up and round like that. But it means that this bit will be finished off in a bit. And we can then just concentrate on the larger part of the field down this bottom end. And we've got our last little triangle here just to clear up those last few cuts. And then we can get the baler out here and get this baled up. I can't believe how much time we get saved just by having this mower doing the rowing for us as it cuts. You know, we don't need to worry about getting a windrower out here at all and doing that. It just cuts so nicely and rows things up so well that we can now just head back, grab the baler, and have a load of bales. And then, of course, we can move the bales off the field when we wrap them as well. So it should all work out fairly well. The other advantage of getting all of this done today is going to be that our wrapped bales should have fermented by the time we need them for selling at the best price. So it's all should work out pretty well for us, to be honest. We're going to be in a position where our bales get the maximum amount of worth and the maximum price out of it, and do us the best we can off here, which is really important, because the one thing we have been struggling for this year is cash flow, and this might be the thing that makes the farm. I think we might end up having to replace this baler on here, though. We're having a similar problem with it on here as we had to a much larger extent on the old stream farm when we tried to use the case version of this baler on there. This is lifting the tractor up. I think its pickup hitch or its pickup goes down too low for it to be very useful with smaller tractors and lower to the ground tractors like this, which is a pity because it's a nice, cheap, useful baler for that. But you can see where we're getting a little bit of drift and a little bit of issue there, right there, from that happening. So it's not great that we have that issue, and it is probably something that we need to look into fixing and changing. Probably worth getting, well, what have we got in baler wise that would be a good replacement for this? Have a look. So smaller baler wise, there's the Potinger Impress, which is 48,000. You're looking at a fairly, yeah, these are 30,000. 110 for the fast bale, but that's way more horsepower. So yeah, looking at the Potinger Impress, our tractor is slightly underpowered for it at 95 horsepower, but it would be 48,000. Our sales have the bigger one with the wrapper on it. Oh, we've had a switch around. And we've got an animal trailer. But yes, so replacing this is not going to be easy. And is probably going to cost us a fair amount. Again, maybe if we're lucky, a baler that's of decent caliber for what we want to do on here will come up in the used sales. But otherwise, we're going to need to put up with this for now, right up until we can afford to get it replaced. And then, yeah, and then I think we'll be sorted. Or we just get a bigger tractor to run this on, and we run it a bit more easily with a slightly bigger tractor. Interestingly, I don't remember this baler having this lifting problem prior to its most recent update. I don't know if something was adjusted in that, but I don't ever remember it lifting the tractor's back wheels up like that and causing it to go a bit wonky prior to that. So it's possible that something got updated and changed or adjusted and is causing this now, which is what's really noticeable when you try and use it with something like the Antonio Carrera pack. But yeah, we used this bale fairly successfully in lots of places prior to that, so I don't know what's causing that. We are getting a decent number of bales off here though. We are doing, yeah, we're doing about half a dozen so far. Let's have a look. How many bales have we created today? 5 today, so yeah, half a dozen, not far off. Which is a pretty good start. We've got a fair amount of this field still to go. So, yeah. We're getting a decent yield. I think we're going to end up with maybe a dozen bales off here. 18 at most. But we'll see where it leaves us. Up to 90% on this bale. We might even... Nope, we're not going to get all the way around. You can see it's causing everything to sort of shift around. Very, very weird. Oh. It's also very, very loud, as you could hear when I turned that off then. Let's unload that. And yeah, let's see how many bales we eventually get off here. This field is so shaded now, I've had to turn the lights on the tractor. We are very nearly done though. I want to grab every scrap of grass off here. Oh yeah, definitely something to do with the pickup, because if I have the pickup lifted, I don't have the issue. The moment I have it down, and it just lifts the back of the tractor up, so it's a little bit solid and it doesn't seem to be riding the ground, and it seems to be a little bit low as well. So yeah, there's something to adjust in there for small tractors. Oh, don't want to hit that bale. There we go. There's a tiny bit there. That probably actually isn't worth picking up. However, we'll go and grab these bits here on our way back. And we've got another half a bale for next time. So let's go swap this out for the bale wrapper and get back to the field, because it is now 2 minutes to 4 in the afternoon. We've got 2 jobs to do. How many bales do we have in total, though? Only 8, which seems a little bit low to me. So we've got 8 bales to wrap. Shouldn't take us too long to do that. And that kind of matches up with something I was thinking earlier. Basically, I think that we cut this slightly early, that it wasn't fully grown, this grass. Now, I had originally planned to cut it in November, but as I said, if we did a cut of it in November, we would end up not being so easy to get 3 cuts next year. So I want to try and maximize how much silage we can get off here, because the silage is a crop that is paying us really well on here. If we're lucky, we can get these picked up and off the field pretty quickly, and then we can get the roller on here before sunset and just make that job a lot easier by not having to roll this field in the dark. Our last bale to get wrapped today. That's all 8 bales off this field. It's not yet 5 p.m. I'm so happy we've managed to zoom through these jobs today. It's been a really busy day on the farm. We have we've managed to roll our seeded fields. We've managed to get the we've managed to fertilize them as well, and I'm so pleased we had enough fertilizer to do that. That was the important fertilizer stage to get, that first one. The other, we should be able... Where's the helicopter? There it is. That's the first time that's flown over me. Ooh. And we heard the Yeti at the same time at 5 p.m. Maybe he was tracking it. That's... Wow. Okay. That's a little bit strange. But we are... we've managed to get pretty much everything done that we wanted to get done today. We've got the rolling to do, so we're just going to drop this off and get the roller out and get the field rolled. I should think that'll take us an hour, hour and a half. So probably we'll finish about 6:30 is the expectation. And if we can do that, then we are in really, really good shape going into November. In fact, as I said, in November, I think we're probably going to skip most of the month because we're not really going to have much to do. I think I might have a little bit behind the scenes work to do on our greenhouses, because those are looking fairly full at the moment. Yeah, we've got a few crates of produce there, but those are going to want to be sold in December as well. So I think our next thing is going to be a big selling off of produce and things like that, because we've got to that point where we haven't got much to do on the farm, but we're looking at making a lot of money from what we have done this year. Coming up to 6 p.m, the sun is setting, and yeah, we're losing the light, but we are still working away here, trying to get this field rolled. This will make everything brilliant for springtime. So I've got this out of the way and all this work done and dusted before November kicks in. So before the end of October is just fantastic. We could not be in a better position right now. We just need to get a little bit of cash in, and then we are going to be laughing. Well, it's taken a little bit longer than I expected, but that tends to always be the case. We are down to the last little triangle on the field, though. And when we get this finished, we will have rolled, well, we'll have cut, baled, wrapped and rolled this grass field today, which is great. We got done a little bit quicker if we hadn't had to roll and fertilize the barley fields, but that's not the end of the world. We're in a decent place. As I said, getting this done today has worked out really, really well for us. One last little spot to do, and then we are finished for the day. Fantastic. Yep, there we go. That's got it all. So there we are. Our tractor all done and dusted for today. We are 100% fertilized. We've got 98% field bonus on yield bonus on this field. That is great. So we're going to leave it here. All that remains is for me to say thank you for watching. I hope you've enjoyed this video. Please give it a like, drop us a comment, and give it a share. And for all the latest videos from Virtual Farmer, please subscribe to the channel, ring that bell, and I will see you next time. Goodbye.